guessing probably nobody's really been on it to do anything in 30 years or better, maybe. It's been a while. It's only a half acre, but it's right on a creek. Pretty peaceful little spot. I'd like to fix it up kind of for a fire pit, and maybe eventually put a little building on it so a person could, you know, stay the night or go hang out a little bit. Something like that. But just pulling it over here with my 94. Just kind of loafing along. This road's not too good. But my plan is I don't really have good access with a vehicle to the property because the old entrance is washed out, kinda. I'll explain when we get there. But I'd like to clean up the creek a little bit and maybe try to get a little better access back onto it with at least a four-wheel drive truck if possible. So I'm not gonna talk too much because it's probably loud in here. Might be able to hear the turbo pretty good, but I will video a little bit when I get there and kind of show y'all what the plan is. I'm not probably gonna get a ton done today, but if I can get some of the brush cleaned up and burnt. It rained last night. I didn't think it was supposed to rain, so it's gonna be a little more wet as far as burning stuff, but I guess I won't have to worry about it getting out of hand at least. But try to clean up some brush and pull a few trees out of the creek and try to grade me a little road up onto the property if possible. So I'll explain a little better when we get there. It's on a one-lane road on a good day. Is blacktop. A little bit of traffic, but not a ton. Although with a trailer, we'll probably run into somebody. Nobody much to bother you down here. A few cars go by every now and then. This is about the best parking I got right now. My place is actually just it starts probably about 80 or 100 feet behind my trailer here, but I don't have enough of a pull off hardly, except for right where I'm gonna be working, to do much. So basically from this culvert right here, it goes straight back and just barely up the hillside. It's only a half acre. It's kind of long, but I've got this creek along it here. You can kind of tell that it's just a kind of a grown-up bank all the way down through here. No good place to get across down this way. I'm not sure if there's a good place anywhere, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Right there is where I'm wanting to make my entrance out of the creek to go up onto the bank. It's not super steep. There's an old fence there. I'll have to pull it up out of the way. I see it over there, but I probably can't. You can kind of see it. Right there. Anyway. I want to get all this brush off the bank, burn a good chunk of it if it'll burn, And then really what I'd like to do is get the creek opened up where I can come down through there. I guess the worst part's going to be here because it's got these bigger rocks. If I could clean that up some though, I should be able to drive down the creek and go up right there. And there's a spot right up here in this curve, right behind this tree right here. And come off the curve and get in the creek. But I've got to get these logs out of the creek, and it'll take a little bit of doing, but we'll see what happens. I'm just going to try to do what I can today. So right here is where you can come off the road, go into the creek here. It's soft, but aside from that, not too bad. I cut that big tree the other day. It had fallen across. Actually, it was all the way across the creek. I pulled it off the bank up there and cut it in half. My place ends about right here at this point. And I believe the entrance used to be straight across this creek and right up through there, but the creek has just washed it out over the years. And I guess you could build it back up again. It'd just take a lot of work, and more than a tractor and a grader box for sure. Got the tractor in the creek, no trouble getting through there. A little tight coming through here. Having to clear this out. This was full of limbs and stuff. I'll try to cut those couple that are sticking straight out off, and then go right down there and make my right and get up on the bank. Once I get kind of a path cleared, I'm gonna try to get this brush off the bank here. It'll be a little bit of a process, but may just have to chain them and drag them up. Got this cleaned out way better. That big log, I've got to go that way with it if I go somewhere with it, so it's gonna have to sit there for now. I should be able to get around it. And then there's a little deep pool there. It's not super deep, and then goes into the rough patch there, but I believe I can get through that too. And if I get through that, then I'll pretty much be where I need to be to get out of the creek. So for reference, here's where I'm coming up. This is where I've got to come through. I might try to by hand set some of them rocks down so they're not, just a few of them, so they're not quite stacked where they're sticking up as bad. Once all that's gone, this will look way better. But I'm gonna try to just, like I said, set a few of them rocks a little flatter, so I've got a little better base to drive on. And then I'm gonna try to bring my tractor down. It looks like a lucky horseshoe to me. Pretty cool. Focus. I'd say she'd been in the creek a while. Well, that didn't go too bad. Hopefully it'll come back out of there. If it doesn't, I guess I'll be pulling it with a chain with something. Now I've just got to go up this little hill. I've got some fence here that I need to get out of the way. Not a lot, just this right here. I don't know if it'll come up by hand or not. I'm gonna get that out of the way, and then I'll see if I can drive this tractor up onto the property here, and then I can start grading from there. It's good and soft, so assuming I don't run into any big tree roots, shouldn't be terrible to grade that a little bit. Got my barbed wire, I'll pull it out of the way. If I get up here, I'm just gonna try to drive up into this little open area here. You can see it's got a lot of old dead trees and stuff on it. You can see how the creek bank is behind my tractor. A little bit tall. That's why it's hard to get an entrance into here. It should be about time of year for morels, but I don't think I'm much of a morel hunter. I like to eat them fried if I get the chance. And I may be walking on them right now. I have a hard time knowing where to look for them. I've gone out and looked in the past, not necessarily here much, but I just seem to have trouble finding them. I guess that's why they're pretty sought after. Apparently I didn't hit record, but I drove my tractor up this. I tell you, the worst thing was these two rocks were kind of hidden, and my back tires got on them at the same time and spun. Other than that, it came up pretty decent. So I'm gonna try to smooth this down a little and just see if I can get some kind of a entrance here. I dropped my tines down 1 notch on my blade. I may need to go another notch, but we'll just see. I'm going to try to feather the top of that out some to start with, and I'll go from there. I figured me a spot here. Cut down several little small trees, you know, kind of like some of these right here. There was 4 or 5 of them, so I cut them down and pushed them up in that pile there with my blade. There's no dead log here. I drug it over there, so I'm gonna see if I can grade a little now. Had to stop for a second. That's some good looking dirt. I was kind of just dragging it up there and pushing it back. Just gonna make a little pile there, but then if I need it, I can pull it back out and do whatever. But I know the camera's not gonna pick it up at all. But I'm kind of getting, it had kind of a breakover at the top. I'm kind of getting that dug off of it. And it's definitely starting to feather out a little. I need to probably go a little wider. Probably need to move this barbed wire some more, but just trying to get a good start at it first, and I'll work my way down toward the creek. That way I can get up and down the bank a little easier if need be. But that old tractor, it's not power steering. So, you know, it makes it a little more difficult to maneuver. At least, you know, I try not to do more turning around than I need to. It's not bad on this. If you get down there in that old rocky creek, it was tough coming through some of those rocks. It didn't want to steer too good. I try not to force it because I don't want to break the steering gearbox. But I did get this one rock out. There was one kind of right here. You can see the other one here. You can actually see where I spun on it. And I want to get it out too, because them rocks are slick. That caused me a little trouble getting up in here. That was the worst trouble I had was when I hit those rocks. It kind of spun out on me. Other than that, it was coming right up. But anyhow, well, the sun's poking out. There's been 2 cars come by the whole time I've been here. I guess I've been here a couple hours anyway. But probably longer than that. But I'm going to continue on, and I'll update when it's hopefully looking a little better. Like I said, it's just going to take a little time. Kind of work my way to the bottom now on that side. It still feels steep enough on the tractor, but it's not nothing like it was. It's much better. You can kind of see how it swells up over here. That's how much I've taken down. Of course, I've got a little pile of dirt over here. I'm gonna try to work my way over here a little bit. I pulled all that fence and barbed wire out over to that little tree right there. And I'm gonna try to cut this a little wider now and work this side all the way to the bottom as well. And obviously it's not gonna be hard pack and drive a car up it today, but I feel like I'll have made some pretty good progress if I can just get all this cut down so that at least you can easily ride a, you know, a 4-wheeler, or at some point maybe a truck, something like that up here. I've got to figure out how to get across the creek easier or smooth that out a lot so that you can bring your truck down it with no troubles. But one step at a time. If I get this over here fixed up, then I feel like originally I was thinking over here about in this spot, but I feel like over here under this brush it's maybe better because the creek's a little taller there because it steps up. And you know, it kind of steps up right here, and so if I could come in right that way and then just kind of shoot across the creek right here and then turn and come up, I'd just like it if I could get a 4-wheel drive truck on it mostly. But either way, this provides much better access, and then, you know, at some point it'd be nice to be able to get a mower or something over here, or at least a bush hog. And this kind of makes that more possible as well, because you can bring your tractor up this now, you know. Obviously I brought it up the first time, but a bush hog makes it a lot harder, a lot more weight out back. So with this smoothed out, it'll be easier to get up in here with whatever I need to get in here with. And then I'd like to, at least maybe for now, push them back some. I'll kind of pile them up against that tree and possibly make me a loop that comes in and just circles right back around. I might do that today, just kind of, you know, scrape the ground and push the dead stuff out of the way and just kind of make a little loop that you can at least pull in here and just drive around without backing up. I've got a whole lot of cleaning to do eventually, but if I can start to make it manageable, it'll sure help. So I'm going to continue on. Maybe I can get this right here dug down to match that pretty good, and then I'll pick my teeth up and maybe try to scrape it a little smoother and drive it in some. I don't know if this gives a lot more perspective, but you know, over here is kind of how it was before, and you can see now I'm getting a pretty smooth little drive there. It's probably still real soft down here at the bottom. It'll need packed in and possibly a little more fill or some, you know, rock. Kind of got endless rock here, so I can play with that later. But that gives a little more perspective. This creek is just so peaceful down here. Get him in the creek before he gets away from me. big tree fell into the road and they've cut it up. And that's where most of this has come from. Some of it was this other tree that right here, it split out at the top and fell over toward the road. And all that's been cut up and piled on the bank. So I'm getting a little bit of it cleaned out where the creek is closer to full width right here. Got a long way to go, but that's not going to happen today, but that's all right. Got a lot done on my entrance there. You can see it don't look too bad. Now I'm thinking I can come from the road and get in the creek right here once this is all cleaned up and knock the bank off. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to come down this through where I could come right through here and shoot right up on the bank there. Well, hopefully y'all can tell that looks a lot better. I mean, that brush was out to like here. And all that little stuff there will probably just sweep downstream once we get a good rain. But that's all I'm gonna clean on the bank today. And that'll help me have a better line at getting my tractor back out the creek as well. So overall, I'm really happy with the progress. Creek looks a fair amount better. Got a pretty nice little entrance here. Box blade and the tractor work good. That little tractor's pretty stout. The diff lock works really well. It's just smooth in and out, and that makes all the difference for this stuff. Because if I hadn't had diff lock, it would have been a lot harder to pull up that bank every time I backed up. So, but besides power steering, I can't really complain. It's a pretty strong little tractor. Got pretty good power for its size. It's about time to eat a little something. I had breakfast about 9:30. It's probably, it's close to 5 now, if it's not 5. So I'm gonna let this cook down a little bit closer to coals, and gonna cook me up some hot dogs, and I got some baked beans if I can get them close enough to get them hot, and some Pringles. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's been a great day spent off work. Sure is nice to be out in the woods sometime. I know the road's right there, but there's been very few cars go by all day long. Makes me feel a little closer to God being out in the woods. I just like it. It's quiet, peaceful, and this is just a neat little spot. So I'm hoping to kind of do something with it. Maybe, make it something that the family can come enjoy every now and then anyway. Have a cookout or something like that. Maybe eventually I can get me a little building or something on it just to, put your food in, or tables or whatever, something you could eat out of, or spend the night in, something like that. But that's a ways down the road if that happens. But anyway, I've got a pretty good entrance now out of the creek. Still don't have the best entrance off the road up here, but I can get in here with a tractor, and probably could get in with a 4-wheel drive truck. It's just a little bit rough coming through the creek there. Some of them rocks are just kind of jagged, so makes it a little bit tedious, getting a vehicle through. But I've got options, I think, for getting across the creek a little better. So I'll have to come back and work on that sometime also. But pretty happy with what I got done today. I got some of the brush cleaned out of the creek, a little bit of it, and got my entrance built pretty good over here, and also kind of just cleaned a little loop here so that if I do drive something up in here, I can just drive around. So pretty good progress for one day. And anyway, I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you next time. Not too bad. I don't know how the rest of the creek will be. Hard one-handed.